we're going to lower this 2021 Softail Slim. It's supposed to lower it like an inch and a half without sacrificing suspension with this kit. Muller motorcycle AG. So you take your spring compressor, put the shock in there, put the top plate on. You're basically going to run these nuts down. It's going to compress this shock, which then I'll be able to unscrew this piece off. All this right here will drop as the spring comes down. This area here, see how it's dogged in there right there, and right there how this bushing is dogged in there. So this plate with the notch is going to drop down as I compress this shock. It'll expose a nut underneath there. I could grab onto the nut. I recommend using something like a spud wrench or a bullpen. Put it in there and break it loose. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and compress the spring and take this bushing off, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we got all the top parts off. Here it is right here. Comes off in an order something like this. You'll have this eyelet with the bushing. So you have this eyelet with the bushing, and you'll see a nut underneath it. That's probably a 1-inch nut. I just put a crescent around it. Spud wrench there, broke it loose. Take that off, take the nut off. You can then pull this piece out, and this rubber stopper comes out next, and your adjuster, your preload adjuster. Alright, here's the parts that come in the lowering kit. Basically strip down the the shock of all its stock pieces, get it to just shock and spring, and here's that's going to go like that. That's going to go in there like that. And of course, this piece is going to press onto there. Right? So I'm going to compress that back down. Until so I'm going to compress that back down. I'm pretty sure, does that go on this way too? Anyway, this all thread locking nut, once this preload adjuster, this will also this will adjust the height. So once this is compressed down, This stud will be exposed, obviously. Then I can run this all thread lock nut over the top, holding in that position. And then the bushing eyelet goes on like that. And that should complete that assembly, and I should be able to reinstall it on the bike. All right, we'll see. All right, so this rubber stop, the directions say take off 7 to 8 mil. 7 mil is 0.276 thousandths of an inch. So we'll just take this and go 275. And then take your caliper and just, I'll hit it with some dicum or some type of die or something, and I'll just scribe a line all the way across. Just like that. There. I'll just keep rolling it and it'll scribe. And then I'll cut that. There we go. Okay. So I had to put, the red dicum didn't work, so I put a white paint pen. You might be able to see my mark. I can see it, that's what's important. But that line circling all the way across, it's about a 1/4 inch. That's going to be the cut line. I went between 7 and 8 mil. There's what it looks like parted. Okay. Okay. So this is one thing that I did read directions on. Not very familiar with this, so, but it looks like so it says you can run this down, this height adjuster, all the way down until it bottoms out, and then you back it off 1 full turn. Every full turn is equals 1/8 of an inch. So the rider of this bike is like, how tall? 4 foot something? 5 foot?
5'2".
5'2", 5'2" lady. So we'll start with all the way down, and then we'll back off the 1 full turn for the 1/8 inch, and then we'll go from there. So it looks like I should be able to accomplish that without putting it in any kind of compressor tool, just by tooling it with the spanner wrench and just holding the whole dang shock like that, right? So I'm just going to turn this down all the way, back it off 1 full turn. This here is your preload adjustment, and then we'll go from there. I'll show you after that. All right, that's what it's looking like so far. Now it says to put this this all thread lock nut on. Calls for 25 Newton meters torque. I should mention that in the directions it talks about spring washers, which are lock washers, right? It talks about securing that, you know, between here and then another one between the eyelet, but the kit doesn't come with lock washers. The diagrams don't show lock washers, so I'm going with no lock washers, but the instructions mention to use spring washers. Or, you know, or a spring washer doesn't have to be a lock washer. It could be just a washer that has a bend to it. Those are spring washers, but technically those are spring washers, but they're not included, so we're just gonna leave that part out. Okay, there's that lock nut. It's on there, torqued down. Eyelets going on. I should mention I use anti-seize on all the threads to make adjustments easy in the future, and removal and whatever, just for future ease. So that's what it's looking like so far. I'll have to lower the bike to line up the holes with my bolt. So the stock shock started off center to center on the eyelets at about 12.5 inches. With this kit put on there, it makes the center to center eyelets about 11 3/4. So there you go. Actually, so I'm gonna lower the bike. Let me know when those holes start to line up.
Okay.
Down inside here. Right inside there.
Keep going a little bit.
More?
Yeah. Alright, a little bit more. A little bit. More. Alright, there should, like, if you wiggle it, it should be lined up.
Go up? What'd you say?
No, keep going down.
Down? Another bump?
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit more. A little bit. Alright, that's good.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and run the bolt through there.
You sure this is the right one?
You know what? Go ahead and pull that bolt out. I probably need to reuse the bushing that's in the old shock. So?
Yep.
All right, so you're gonna want to take your old eyelet off of your original. You know, this is the stock piece. Pull this wrist pin bushing out, and you're gonna use this with the new assembly. That's another thing that's left out of the instructions. Okay, thank you. Okay, just for a little perspective, when the bike was standing straight up and down, the clearance between my pancake jack and the frame was about 2.5 inches. So now my pancake jack, you got the bike?
Yeah.
Is all the way down, and I have maybe, so that looks bigger, that gap looks bigger than it appears on camera, but I can't stick my finger in there. So it significantly drops it. I'll just say that much. Cool.